very energetic, and I give it to the band Kneecap. I just thought, for non-actors, I thought it was a very entertaining movie.
Patty.
I wish I'd seen that movie.
Where am I?
Okay. Hello. So, welcome to What the Flicks podcast, episode 82. 82? Yeah, 82. I'm Susan Ayers.
I'm Lon Shima.
I'm Patty Smith.
Jorge Sanchez.
Yeah, as you can see, Patty's joining us by Zoom today. She's a busy girl, places to go, people to see. So, our movies this week are Paint, Sinners, Kneecap, Penguin Lessons, and Fandango. This week, we'll be doing Lon, eh?
Yes, I chose Kneecap, written and directed by Rich Pepiat. I hope that's how you pronounce his name. I'm just going to preface it by saying the only reason I picked this movie is I live in LA, and we have a music festival called Coachella. It's outside of LA. But the group Kneecap sort of made publicity because of their sort of political controversy. Now, I don't want to bring up the politics at all, but I just want to say, it's like, okay. But then I heard they were Irish rap group. They do rap in the Irish language, Gaelic
Irish
language.
Gaelic.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, okay. But I thought they got a lot of publicity, and then they were also talked up very majorly in the UK as well. Because they are part of the United Kingdom, because they're in Northern Ireland. They are from Northern Ireland. And I also was sort of surprised that one of the members wore that Irish baklava or baklava or what do you call that? Balaclava. I'm sorry. Thank you. and I was just sort of intrigued. Now, I'm thinking I'm not going to like this. It's probably going to be very, about politics, hit me over the head. Violent, it's also, probably going to be with the drugs about whatever. And I thought, I'm probably not going to like this movie. And then I started watching this movie, and the way it starts out, I thought, okay, this is sort of interesting. Because, he even makes the cliche, oh, yeah, if you see a movie about Belfast, it usually starts like this. So you see that of the times during the Troubles that Ireland had. But he says, no. And then what he says, it starts this way. And he starts with the christening. And which I think is very symbolic, because it's featured both at the beginning and at the end, about how he talks about his friend Nisha, who is christened at sort of a spot where Catholics went, and it was a secret spot because they were trying to, I'm assuming, when the British were there, take out the language, take out the religion. You have to be like, Church of England or whatever. I really don't. I'm very ignorant when it comes to a lot of, even though I was born or lived during the 70s, hearing about the IRA and all the Irish, or as they refer to them, the Troubles. I was always shocked, but it's like, wow, they're I always thought IRA, they're terrorists. Then the Sinn Féin, and then they actually, in 90, what was it, 92, 94?
Yeah, around that time.
When they actually found peace, that they sort of made this agreement. So then they are children of a peacetime, Ireland, Northern Ireland, but there's still a lot of that sentiment of that Republic sentiment of like, no, we want the British out.
Right.
So here I am. Okay, is this movie going to be about this? Well, it turned out in a way it was, but it had to do more with their language. First of all, as I say, the members of Kneecap helped with the story with the director. So they claim, if I'm not mistaken, that this is a fictional account of how they began. So I did take it with a grain of salt, but because, like I said, of the beginning and the ending, obviously they are telling very true things about their characters. I found all three of the Kneecap members charming, funny. I was with them all the way. Not once I said, "Oh, what a hoodlum, what a day." And, they're drug dealers. These are not people I would associate probably with, but there was something there. In fact, the energy of this movie reminded me of Trainspotting. And even going further back, it reminded me of A Hard Day's Night because of that whole music, the energy, the running, the chasing, whatever you want to say is going on in this movie. It's going really quickly. But as it is, it's like, okay, the three characters are, the three band names have the names Mo Cara, Mogley Bad, and then DJ Provi. These are played by the members, and excuse me if I get the names wrong, but I think this is how they pronounced it in the film. There's Liam O'Haney, Nisha O'Carolian, or O'Carolian, I can't remember how it is, and then JJ O'Doherty. I will say this, for a music band that then makes a movie, I thought these guys were terrific doing what they were. You could tell they're not professional actors, but they had a goofiness. The tone of the movie, which again I will give to the director, matches their personality. So in my opinion, it really works. And like I said, I wasn't really I thought I'm not gonna like this movie, but it kept drawing me in, and they kept sucking me in with everything that's going on. Most importantly, I will say this: the two sort of known, or for me, two standout performances is Simone Kirby and Michael Fassbender playing Nisha's parents.
Oh,
I thought they were excellent, and also representing a certain type of Ireland of the time.
Well, they were the fighters. They were the revolutionaries.
Well, that's I said. He was
the father.
She was not the mother. But what's sort of fascinating is at one point when, for example, like I said, Kneecap, they have all these adventures, how they recruit, they're getting arrested for selling drugs, or they're, but Liam gets arrested, and he's questioned at the police station. He refuses to speak English. He only speaks in the Irish Celtic language, or I'm just gonna say the Irish language. Okay,
Irish Gaelic.
What I think is interesting is I sort of smiled at that because I want to say in 2020 during the pandemic, I was in Hawaii, sort of like taking care of my father. The same thing happened in Hawaii, where one of the citizens arrested on one of the islands spoke in Hawaiian in a court, and the judge was saying, "I know you know English," but he refused to so the court had to be delayed until they got a translator for the judge. But I thought that's really smart because when that's your indigenous language, saying no, I don't have to recognize this court,
especially in a court where things are big, little subtleties make huge differences.
Exactly. And I know it was only a tactic to delay, their being, because they were the Hawaiian guy and they're in the wrong. But I like the fact that they're sort of skirting around and sort of getting time, basically.
It's the old no hablo inglés.
Exactly. Right. So that was the start. So they have to bring in a translator, and the translator just happens to be a music teacher who comes in, who basically is, you could tell he's just this quiet, almost like a nerdy kind of unassuming guy who doesn't want to cause problems, but he recognizes Ireland's part. Like he does seem to be, like really Irish, but not anti-British. Just the fact that he likes to see young kids maybe embrace, the culture of Ireland in itself.
Because he's a teacher, right? He teaches that language.
He's a music teacher.
Oh, music teacher, right?
No, yeah, that's the thing. He's a music teacher, but his wife is sort of a I don't want to say politician, but she's one of these social kind of people who's out there trying to get the Irish language recognized in Northern Ireland, saying, no, this is a legitimate language. We should encourage people to speak it. And she's the one who's called, but she says, no, I'm too tired. I have court. You go. So she tells her boyfriend he has to go, and he goes. And this is the DJ Provi, that because of his sympathies with them, he sort of helps Liam out in the case. And one of the things is Liam had a book that sort of had drugs in it. I'm assuming acid tap. I mean, I don't know, ecstasy. I have no idea what drugs are with
Today.
that thing. Yeah, exactly. And the way it was, right? And the thing. So But he sees the sort of lyrics, or he calls it poetry. He says, "Oh yeah, I noticed you wrote stuff, and I'm a musician." And it's like, "Oh, you should do that." So both he and Liam and the DJ Provi character, they then convince Nisha, "Well, okay, yeah, let's record these." Well, they record it, and then they become popular with a certain crowd at first. But you have to also realize they're drug dealers. So of course they're promoting, like I forget whose uncle, but one of them has an uncle who has a pub, and he said, "Oh yeah, he said we can perform as long as they gave him drugs." Basically, I think marijuana to help him for some whatever reason. So they perform, and the bartender just basically tapes them doing one of their raps, which becomes, it just makes, and I'm assuming again, I don't know if it's a TikTok, Instagram, Facebook thing,
Some
One
social
of those
media thing.
things.
but
that's right.
yeah, but then all of a sudden they realize these young kids are singing our song. So they increasingly get more and more popular. But what's funny is that the fact that both the police and a group called the RRAD, which is the Radical Republicans Against Drugs.
Yeah.
And like I said, when you're called the Republicans, that means you're really pro-Irish. When you're radical Republicans, I'm thinking, oh, you're in that IRA, get the British out kind of thing. And they seem to be at odds with both these sides, which really puts them in the middle. And like I said, I just like the fact that they start singing songs. One of them taken, from a policeman when he tells them, "You're nothing but a HOOD," and then Liam writes a song about that, which is a really catchy song, and they become more and more popular. But then the police and the RRAD find them as a threat to society in a way. And then, as it goes along, it just keeps going further. So how are they becoming more popular? Are they becoming more popular? How are they affecting society? And how it's affecting them and basically their family. Because for DJ Provi, it's him and his girlfriend. Because like I said, she's seemingly in almost like a political situation where she can't be associated with the things that they're singing out. Because they also, like I said, not just being drug addicts, but, talking about getting drugs. It's going to be a bloodbath, talking about violence. So it's all the stuff. But I sort of admired that because, in my opinion, that's sort of what rap was to me in the 80s when, you had people with the albums like Cop Killer and things like that. I mean, this is a societal thing they're doing, but they really were doing something about getting the Irish language recognized in Northern Ireland. And ultimately, I know when you talk about the Republic, they just want the reunification of Ireland, just being one country now. And again, staying away from the politics, it's like, well, I didn't really care about that, but I was really moved by what they were doing, not even just emotionally, but thinking, yeah, they're doing they're really trying to do the right thing. They're not really hoodlums, which I really thought that's what they were sort of being portrayed as.
Well, they're young hoodlums.
Yeah. Well, that's it. They're just young. Of course, they're rebellious. They're doing this. So, like I said, going from Coachella, what they said, into what's going on now. And even I heard they might have been banned at Glastonbury because of their
I heard
political views, but they weren't, But I thought, I had no problem watching this movie, but my politics, I don't know what, and the words that they use, I don't know if they were offensive. Like I said, I don't know if Provi's offensive. He used the term Finian, which I had to look up because it had to do with association with an old legend, Finn McCool. But then it also meant, it could be a derogatory term. And even Liam has this sort of sexual hang up about the only girls he seemed to have sex with are people. He had to say horrible things about like British or anyone who's anti-Irish, and the women had to say all these IRA or thing. It was just very funny. And I will point out another. I thought Fiona Flattery was good. She played Caitlin. That was DJ Prove's girlfriend. because I like her character because she sees that. He says, "Oh, you're doing that little pouty thing." And he goes, "What do you mean?" He says, "Oh, I just know that means you're happy, and I haven't seen that in a while." And little things like that. I thought this, and maybe it's just me that I'm just charmed by almost anything Irish. They seem to way how to explain things, charm you, and just bring you onto their side. And it's just like I just thought this was a fun movie, very energetic, and I give it to the band Kneecap. I just thought, for non-actors, I thought it was a very entertaining movie.
Patty.
I wish I'd seen that movie. I watched the movie Kneecap, and I love Irish movies. I just love Irish movies. So I found it. But I really thought, this is what I thought. I didn't realize all of that in it. What I thought was, it was a bunch of guys who wanted to keep Irish Gaelic in Ireland. That's what I thought the movie was about.
No.
But even if I didn't know what it was about, which obviously I didn't, I find Irish movies, I don't know, the way they say things, you're right, the vibe, the humor, even when they're talking serious stuff, it's the way the accent comes out. I'm at loss. I wish I'd seen that movie. George?
Me, yes. No, I actually enjoy the movie. A lot of points here if I can read my notes. Actually, the movie is what is. It shows the things that what's interesting is really that there's this cause to try to save the Irish Gaelic language, and they're marching and everything because they want to get rid of it. And of all things, is an Irish Gaelic rap group that's gonna be the biggest part of a movement to save that language. It comes through the rap, which makes a lot of sense actually. That's it. Actually, I thought, because I had no idea who Kneecap was and I didn't know about the Coachella thing, I thought they were actors. But I actually thought they were actors pretending to be a rap band. I didn't realize it was an actual rap band doing the acting in the movie. I thought they were actors and they're funny and they're
Okay.
gonna rap thing. And when I researched this, oh, it's an actual band. You know how I was telling you I love Argentinian movies.
Yes.
When I'm in Spanish, because the way they speak cracks me up all the time. Their choice of curse words. I mean, if this one's culture is speaking in Spanish, that every time I watch a movie, I'm dying on the floor because it's Argentinian movies.
Really?
It's just their accent, their choice of words, the way they curse, is so funny to me, more than any other Latino speaking country. This Irish is the equivalent of that. Like this movie, I'll say, if I would give a description of an English speaking one, is the Irish Gaelic, those guys. They were cracking me up when they just, the way they spoke, the way they curse, their little choice of words, and they actually sound cute, actually. Like Argentinian, the words sound cute, they don't sound like you're cursing. So they were just cracking me up. But and also shows how there was a couple of funny things that show how the kids get into drugs because
Are you okay, Patty?
Yeah, sure. So
Okay.
how they they I don't know if you say work at the church. No, they work at a church.
Oh, they were altar boys.
Altar boys.
Altar boys.
And then
yes.
there's the scene where how the cops are chasing this guy and he has drugs and he runs by them. I'll say maybe taking a break and he just drops it on them and he keeps running and the cops go running and they're like, and they're really little.
And they smile.
And the next thing, they smile. The next thing you say is the priest with the smoke thing of the church.
It's supposed to be incense.
Yeah, incense.
Yeah.
And then because it's narrated and the narration is so funny too. And it's saying, and somehow the membership of the church group, picked up after that.
Yeah, doubled next week.
Doubled.
Yeah.
Because it's like, just like the membership of the. So it had those little moments that were just cracking me up. I had a lot of funny moments in the movie. I thought maybe I'm musician. I thought the music was great too. Like Sinners. I was the whole time watching the movie was just my neck was just constantly going. Oh, that's a nice beat. Oh, the beat drop on that one. That's good. So I really enjoyed that part of it too. So yeah, and it's. Again, it's like kind of like it also shows that how the movie starts too. That how he says how that generation is their parents who fought the wars, who had the big
right.
civil wars, the IRA and all that.
Mm-hmm.
His father went to jail.
Yeah, so it's their parents did all this. This generation is now like the peace generation, and they don't know what to do, and they're like just saying around. They don't have a cause. They don't have anything. They just putter about.
Mhm.
So, and this in a way becomes their class, So that was an interesting take on it. But no, yeah, this is yeah, I enjoy it. Yeah,
That's it for you?
that's it.
Okay. Okay, coming from Canada, I really understand the importance of language, the importance of, okay, like in Canada, English and French are both the language of the land.
Oh, right.
And I'm
yes.
I'm
Mhm.
surprised that the English wouldn't have done that in Ireland. They'd have far less trouble. Do you know what I mean? Because and when, as a person who was majoring in sign language, the sign languages told me, because I was kind of like, well, why don't you just have one language in sign, and she told me, because the culture is in the language. I was like,
Interesting.
oh,
I never thought about that, but yeah.
and that's why they try and get rid of languages. They're trying to get rid of your culture. They're trying to actually genocide you, is actually what they're trying to do. So that's why it's so important that it's kind of to prevent people or disrespect their language. I think is really, you're asking for trouble. You're just asking for trouble. Anyways, because you're trying to kill the culture. That's
Mhm.
really what you're
Right.
trying to do.
Right. I know they did it here in America with the Native Americans. Remember, they told them you have to speak English.
Yeah, this is an old story,
Yeah.
right? So, the film, although really down and dirty, because it really is, I was kind of like shocked, right? Follows the struggle of these working class youth, and they are very working class. So there's a lot of bad language. They're poor.
Well, I don't know if they were poor only because they were always wearing tracksuits. Did you notice that? They
Yes.
always had nice clothing.
Yes, but I looked at the home they came from. That's a
Mhm.
working class home.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The mother with her laundry basket.
Also, you don't know how they acquired those tracksuits.
That's true. Well, they sold drugs, so they had money, but yeah.
Working class Irish youths who speak Irish Gaelic. I thought that was also another thing that I thought was fun. Like they're kind of talking, that children are saying either the Pledge of Allegiance or something, and they're saying it in Gaelic,
Mhm.
right? Irish Gaelic. And they have a picture of the Queen,
Right.
right? That's the same picture we had.
Yes,
At
okay.
the beginning of the class. That's the same picture we had. So I really related with that, right? When they put their language to rap, this really excited the younger people. Before they were just like reciting stuff, but when because they were saying stuff that they related to, and I just thought it was so great because see, his father had been a person who'd gone to jail for this, for being I guess an IRA guy, or
Well, you're talking about Nisha's father?
yes.
Well, he really didn't go to jail, remember? It was
Oh,
quasi.
yes. Yes.
It was like,
Yes.
Yeah.
well, the thing is he alive or is he dead?
He fell off a boat. It's supposed to be.
Exactly.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
But anyways, this was something that he really felt strongly about. And I could see that with later on, he does appear. And this is something that, and he gets it. He gets that these people, his son, and the rap music that they're doing is reaching more people
Right.
than he could ever reach.
Well,
he gets it.
He eventually gets it. And he talks about being a bullet.
Right. What was that? That was actually, I was going to write that down because I thought that was important. He says, yeah, like speaking one word of like Gaelic is like a bullet. He talked about something about a bullet and being.
Yeah, like before you use bullets, to fire your thing,
Mhm.
and now you are
Times
the
have
bullet. You are the
changed.
bullet. like saying like you
No, exactly. Yeah,
So
yeah.
the bullet becomes something else becomes a bullet. And
Right. Well, his words, the
words,
Irish
yes.
words
Yeah.
become a bullet or something
Yeah.
somehow.
and the
yeah.
music.
as opposed to an
Yeah.
actual bullet.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it carries the same strength or whatever you want to call
Exactly.
it. The same
The power of it. Right.
So I was going to say, this is a real group. I did not know that when I watched the movie. Right?
No, I didn't
really?
either.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah.
I heard
Oh.
of it after because I heard
Oh.
after that I heard like some commotion at Coachella
Mhm.
over this group Kneecap.
Yeah.
I just saw that movie. Right? I wrote here. You know how some films are very arty and they have a focus of entertaining? This is not that movie. This is kind of like what I would call a low budget independent film.
Oh, very much so.
And it
yeah.
has a definite point, and the point is very important. So, yes, I liked it, even though how can I put it? I am not a rap fan. And
It might have been a big course at times. For you.
yeah, it might have been a little bit coarse at times for me, but I plowed through it, and I see what he was getting at, and I liked it.
Mhm. I guess you were the last one, right?
Yes.
Oh, I guess I am the last one. Am I?
Yep.
Oh,
So, Pat-
okay. So, Patty.
But
You have to rate it.
it was a pretty cute movie, so I'll say 7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I liked it. I'll give it an 8. Enjoy it.
Yeah, if I was just giving it a number based on the actual movie, I'd probably give it a 6. But I thought that the message part of it and what they were trying to do and what they were trying to say, I'd give it a 7.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, despite the name, because I didn't bring that up, because Kneecap also is an extremely violent thing that apparently the IRA and I guess the British as well used to do to each other during the Troubles.
Yeah,
But-
whack the boat.
Exactly.
Kneecap.
So, but I was so surprised that how much I enjoyed this movie. So I have to admit, I would give this a 7. So
Mhm.
Wow.
You're going to give it a
The
7?
big
Yeah.
7.
I'm impressed.
again,
Over 6.
I don't know what to tell people because, like I said, this is not for everyone. But I just thought, as a film, just plain sheer entertainment, and yet making really, I think, great political statements, as well as having a couple of emotional things. I think there's a really great emotional scene with the mother at the pub singing. I thought it was wonderful. I was
Also,
really
the father,
surprised.
Michael Fassbender, when he's talking to Sunday.
But it was also funny, like when they do their first gig, that his uncle lets him sing at the bar,
Yeah.
and there's just nobody there.
Yeah.
They do one song, and everybody, they're all older
What I
guys.
thought was funny is when they're being interviewed and they're doing some kind of drug and everything's like a
Oh,
weird.
how surreal it gets!
Yeah.
Yes,
But it's like-
claymation.
it's claymation.
Yeah.
It reminded me of what's it? The one where what's the movie? Thank you for the dolphins. Thank you for the
Thanks
fish.
for the fish.
What's the movie called?
It's called
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
yeah.
Where they go through this particular realm and they turn into
Oh, yes,
knitted,
when they
like
go to
knitted.
the improbability
and
drive,
they're
right?
like-
and they
they're like
look knitted, yeah,
characters.
yeah,
That kind of
yeah.
remind me of that actually.
Right, where he throws up with
Yeah,
the
Yeah, so
But no, exactly. It was there. That's what I'm saying.
So it
It
has
had
moments.
so much fun and energy to it. I was surprised. I
Yeah.
was really surprised.
But funny enough, it's an old story. Like you said, that's what they did to the Native Americans. That's what they do to anybody. When you hear that somebody's trying to get rid of somebody's language, you're actually trying to get rid of a people.
Well, that's
Yeah.
that is the weird part, because even one of the ending lines of the movie says that an indigenous language dies like every 40
Oh, yeah.
days.
Oh,
And
yeah.
even I'm like, I said, no, that's way too much. But
No.
I have no idea. But
Sure,
to make
th-
that statement is really sort of surprising.
Well, remember, there's South American groups, there's African groups, there's
Oh, yeah.
that have
no.
local
Well,
languages.
just think about Asian groups in
Asian
general. Yeah,
groups.
when they talk about all these little cultures that are
It's
being
funny
just
how
sort of-
all this indigenous language dying and more people learning Klingon. It's not even on Duolingo.
More Klingon, yeah, that'll be my.
So we'll be back.
Okay, we'll be back. So remember, like us, subscribe, and buy us coffee if you have enough money. And we'll see you next week.